Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. Why is this so bright? Let's see. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay, much better. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. Hey, Epic Movement. How are you? Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hello, Miss Queen Esther. How are you? Let's see. Can everyone confirm? Can y'all hear me okay on TikTok? I think I need to clean up my screen. Give me 1 second, y'all. You're gonna see TikTok. Okay. Watching from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi. Thank you for joining. Hi, TikTok family, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Can y'all hear me okay? Somebody, anybody? Why is this always going dark? Ugh. Oh, I think because I just wiped it. All right, so let's wait a little bit. It would. Okay. Thank you, Miss Quinn. Hi, FA at. Thank you. Applause 4-6. All right, I think we're coming back. Yeah. Okay. Can y'all hear me okay on Instagram? Okay, it's coming back up. Yes, I'm doing very well. Hey, Miss Peggy. Hello, Miss Abina. How are you? Hello, Miss Lucy. How are you doing? Hello, Mr. Oladimeji. Welcome everyone to the most positive U.S. immigration space and social platforms, safest space to celebrate immigration victories and ask questions about new policies with this lawyer, one and only, right here. Hello, Abidemi Batmos. How are you? Let's see. Come on in. Hello, Mr. Professor. Welcome. I hope everyone had a great weekend. This is like my version of Monday. So just in y'all. So if you are just joining us for the first time, please tell us where you're joining from, state, city, state, country. You're welcome. Like Ms. Emily Sanctuary said, this is a very positive space. There's enough drama out there. We don't need it. So we keep this space positive for everybody. Pray for one another, encourage one another, and motivate one another as much as we can. So thank you always for joining us. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Anywhere else you live, I don't know. Ask Google, ask Siri, ask Alexa. Those tech assistants will know. But anyway, this is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olanle. Let me change this real quick, y'all. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to switch this over. Okay, perfect. All right. So this is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olanle. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that I handle, we can and do represent immigration clients regardless of the state you live in. I can't even tell you how we get that question every single day. And I think I say it every single time. Like, y'all, like, because 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒕 represents immigration as far as U.S. immigration is concerned. Any other country, I can't help it. You can go and find out what's going on because there's a whole lot going on with immigration crackdown and all that. But anyway, if we can be of assistance to you with your immigration journey, in your immigration process, contact our office 334 341-447-5. Number is scrolling across the screen, so be sure to reach out to us. Same number on WhatsApp. You can still also text that same number, text, WhatsApp, same number. We do not have any other number that you can call outside of the number that you see. Visit our website at olalealawfirm.com. info@olalealawfirm.com is the email to send us an email to. We will be glad to walk this immigration journey with you. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all social media platforms at Olaleye Immigration. Shako, and subscribe to YouTube channel. Shakarara, we're just asking nicely, okay? But anyway, let's talk immigration, y'all. Let's talk immigration. Let's see. Okay, let's talk immigration. Come on in. It's been we've not even spent 1 month in this new administration when it's been a whole lot going on. But God remains in control. Alrighty, so let's just get started. So I want to get as many questions as possible. If you've got a question, put the question in the comment section, and I will do the best I can to go through all the questions. Anything about processing time, anything about traveling, that's not a question I'm going to answer because I still don't need to travel. Well, Hasi port of entry, I know it ain't going to happen. So any other question, you can put that. But processing time, you can go on USCIS.gov/processing time. You find out how long your application is taking. And if you want to travel, if you've got a question about travel, ask your lawyer. Well, anyway, let's talk immigration, y'all. So what we're talking about tonight, updates and questions. Updates and questions. Not too many updates, but just updates, immigration news. First update is this. So I think it was on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. I think it happened after we had the last live. And yesterday, 2 more federal judges have entered orders temporarily blocking this executive order on birthright citizenship from going into effect on February 19, 2025. What does that mean in a nutshell? It means that as far as the law is concerned for right now, keep in mind, anything can change. So if a superior court enters an order overturning what the district court judges have done, then that's subject to change. But right now, we've got 3 judges that have decided that this executive order is absolutely ridiculous, unconstitutional, and should have no place right now. There are temporary orders. It's nothing permanent, but it stops this administration from implementing anything regarding that birthright citizenship executive order when February 19 comes around. So they have to pause. Now, is this person going to listen? Because there are court orders right now that are in place on other matters that are non-immigration related that his administration has just completely ignored. Like, does anybody feel like, especially if you're Nigerian, does anybody feel like this is like maybe an Abacha kind of regime or something? Kind of like, I don't know. I digress. But anyway, so that is huge. So basically, for those who are pregnant or planning to be, well, I don't know, because I was just thinking pregnancy takes a while. But anyway, right now, any child born on U.S. soil, until there is a further order of a court that can overturn that, any child born continues to be a citizen by birth. So if you have put on pause, you had a child recently, or you're going to be having a child anytime about February 19, and worry about, can you get a passport for them? What's going to happen? Right now, nothing changes. So everything stays the same in the sense of you have the child is entitled to a U.S. passport and can apply for that until a judge or a higher court decides that they're going to overturn that. Okay, so that's now right now. H-1B process. H-1B registration starts March 7, 2025, 12 p.m. March 7, 2025, runs through March 24, 2025, 12 noon to 12 noon. H-1B registration season is where a U.S. employer is able to file a petition for a foreign employee. So a foreigner can be sponsored by a U.S. employer, meaning a company that will sponsor you. H-1B status is a non-immigrant work visa status that allows you to work in the United States legally for up to 3 years initially. It's renewable for another 3 years, and then it is renewable beyond the 6-year statutory period if you fall within certain exemptions that allows you to go beyond the 6 years. Generally, it's good for 6 years. If you fall within some exemptions, then you can go beyond 6 years. Most of the time, employers some of them will actually sponsor a green card for the employee down the road. And a lot of people, we've received a lot of questions about, how do I know if I qualify? Can I get an employee to do that for me? First things first, I'll tell you this. If you've been in the country without any legal status, meaning you have overstayed your non-immigrant visa, you've overstayed, B1, B2, F1, you're no longer in any status. Even if you've got a pending asylum pending is not a legal status, it's just an authorized stay. If you don't have any non-immigrant status that's not expired, then you've overstayed your visa or your status, then you are not going to be eligible to change status in the country. With non-immigrant visa petitions, you are changing status from one to another. You're not adjusting status when you apply for a green card. In order for you to change your status, however, an employer must sponsor you, and you must be eligible to change the status, meaning that you are going to be in a valid non-immigrant status at the time that USCIS receives the Form I-129 that's going to be filed by the employer. So at the very minimum, the employee must have a bachelor's degree at the very minimum and have specialized skills that makes, also the job itself must be a specialty occupation where primarily H-1B employee it's a position where primarily employers require at the very least a bachelor's degree for. So that's what an H-1B is in a nutshell. It is going to be, so the registration process, the registration fee is going from $10 to $215. So that's like, anytime I say math, it's like, that's what, 20%, 200%, something percentage, like is ridiculous, right? So it's going from $10 to $215. Starts on March 7, noon on March 7, 2025, runs through March 24, 2025. And at the end of March, towards April, USCIS will conduct what we call the H-1B visa lottery. So they will select up to, I want to say, so up to 60,000 or 65. Don't quote me on that. Out of, it's usually, a lot of people don't get selected each year, but that's what happens. If your registration is selected, then the employer can proceed with filing the I-129 petition for you. You cannot start work until October 1st, which is going to be the new fiscal year, which is fiscal year for 2026. That's that in a nutshell. So just if you qualify for that, if you have an employer who's willing to sponsor you for that, then that's great. Okay, so H-1B process, birthright citizenship, visa bulletin. So I'm not really sure why they even released the darn thing. It's not even moving. Like it's not moving. It is. So visa bulletin, let me see if I can share my screen here. All right. So why does this matter? I'll show you why it matters now. Okay. And, I get updates of this every month when it comes on because I've got quite a number of clients that we have approved NIW, EB2 NIW for going on some year and a half, waiting on priority date to become current, but we can't file anything because, there's just backlog. So visa bulletin for March 2025 has been released today. What does that mean? How does that affect you? If you are someone who is married to a green card holder, for instance, or you're someone who who has an employment petition filed on your behalf, it's been approved, and you're just waiting. Now the next step is to file your green card application. That's where the visa bulletin comes in, because with the visa bulletin, the visa bulletin does not apply to immediate relatives, meaning spouses, children under the age of 21, unmarried, and parents of U.S. citizens. Those three categories of people would always have visa numbers available to them, so they're not preference category relatives, so they don't have to wait. Every other person, green card holder relatives, relatives of citizens that are not within those three groups, and people who have employment petitions filed on their behalf, everyone falls within the visa bulletin guide. And so for March 2025, USCIS is going to be using the dates for filing in the family sponsored, that's dates for filing chart for family sponsored, and using the final action dates for employment sponsored. What that makes a difference is the final and the dates of filing is actually much more ahead than the final action when it comes to employment days. So for March, they just moved forward 1 month from April 2023 to May 2023 in employment categories. The family category really didn't change. They're still working on cases that were received on or before July 15, 2024. So this is where it matters. If you are, for instance, example, you've got an I-130 that was filed on your behalf by your spouse. Your spouse is a green card holder. If you are married to a green card holder, you're in the country and you're trying to get a green card through marriage to a green card holder, number one, you've got to maintain non-immigrant status throughout the whole process until USCIS receives your I-485. So once USCIS receives your I-485, then you're no longer required to maintain status. Some people still do, but that's at that point, once you have your receipt notices sent to you, then you're authorized to stay. So if your spouse files an I-130 for you, say for instance, January or 2025, as a spouse of a green card holder, you cannot file the green card application yet. The reason being, for you to be eligible to file the green card application, then USCIS must start working on cases filed on or before January 1st, 2025. Right now, they're working on cases filed in July 2024. So anyone that filed an I-130 as a spouse of a U.S. citizen, as the unmarried child over the age of 21 of U.S. citizen or green card holder, after that date, everyone has to wait until they get to their dates before they can file for green card applications. If you do, they're going to reject your case. If they erroneously accept your application, they're probably going to reject it at some point. Sometimes people will be out of status. So that is what is going on so far. As far as immigration that y'all need to know, let's see. That's about it. Any other observation? That's it. But anyway, okay. So that's every day we have something new. Every day something new comes in. So if we get or when we get updates, and if you haven't followed us on any of our social media platforms, you need to do that, because I think we try to keep y'all updated on what's going on, and without putting spreading the fear, mongering, and all that. But it is what it is. All right, questions. Let's get to questions. Disclaimer: nothing specific to anyone's case. General information. If you need something, if you need an evaluation of your case, specific case, then you are welcome to schedule a consultation with us whenever you get a chance. Okay. All right. Let me start on YouTube. Hello, Miss Adelaja. How are you? Loud and clear. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Chinedu. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Thanks for joining kindly. Yes, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel at Olale Immigration. We are trying to build our audience, so please subscribe. And what I cannot tell you, I had a consultation with a lady today, and at the end of she has a pending asylum case. At the end of the consultation, she tunes in every Tuesday and Thursday, but obviously this is general information. But she said, based on listening to me, come on and all that and learning, she decided, I need to know more about my case and what's, and she was able to get an in-depth evaluation of her case. And she was like, now she has the information she needs. Point being, you just never know who's watching. You never know who's going to benefit. So please follow, share, subscribe. That'll be very much appreciated. Positive platform where we share immigration journey, encourage one another. Please don't hold back on your testimonies. It encourages a lot of us on here, so kindly share. Absolutely true, Miss Abena. Hello, Miss Giwa. How are you? Hi, Miss Tina. Hello, hello, hello. Carol says, I just said anything about travel. I'm not answering that question. I only answer travel questions for my clients. Please, 32 of us kindly share. Please. Okay. Can you speak more about green card via interview? What, Miss Jane, what do you mean more about it? What do you want to know? All right, let me go to Instagram. Let's see. Okay. Going through. My house is quiet tonight because I think that kid is asleep. My friend needs to set up another consultation with you again. Her job applied for a green card but won't renew her H-1B. We'll be glad to talk to her. So if she can go on our website and schedule one. Hello, Finest Shandy. I could swear that I saw her, but maybe I was thinking that she was here. Okay. Try not to miss anyone's question. Let's see. Shalom, Miss Peggy. We thank God. Ishati everything on law. Hello, Adenike from Albany, New York. Thank you for joining. Let's see. I guess what's happening here now? What's happening? Did I miss something? Oh, the wet. Hold it. Where it's like summer for us. I'm wearing a sleeveless jumpsuit today. It's like we're in the 70s. I was like, okay, this dawn weather needs to make up its own mind, but I will take it. Let's see. Pregnancy, oh yeah. Okay, can a citizen still bring their spouse from abroad? Nothing has changed about that as of now, because we just don't know what policies we'll wake up to, and what nothing has changed as of now. You are a suspect. Are you Sister Lawyer's troublesome client? She may be. Come on, change this for 9 months every 1 year. Okay. Hello, Miss Salami. How are you? Happy Tuesday, my people, and good evening. Good evening to you as well. Sissy Lawyer is the greatest. Of course, my kid is going to say that. My kid. If you see a comment that says Sissy Lawyer is the greatest, that's my child. Your mama better be the greatest. Thank you, TJ. And he says, I like your hair, Sissy Lawyer. Yo, like we're living in the same house, right? You're just anyway. Thank you. Now that you mentioned H-1B, I had a question posted. Okay, I think I already answered that question. On H-1B visa, did the pilot renewal of the H-1B in the U.S. roll out last year? What do you mean the pilot renewal of the H-1B in the U.S.? H-1B is always in the U.S. I'm not sure what you mean by roll out last year. What pilot? H-1B has always been, so I'm not sure I understand your question. Hello, God's favorite, 82. What does no case found for this A number mean? Is it a good thing? I'm assuming that you went on the Immigration Court EOR website, and if that's what you're talking about, that basically just will indicate that you're not in deportation proceedings at the time that you did that search. Disclaimer, general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. I wanted to ask, after responding to an I-693 medical RFE for I-485, what next follows? An interview? I can't tell you if an interview is going to follow. They're going to decide if they're going to schedule an interview in your case or not. So you're just going to have to wait and see what USCIS decides. As an asylee, my green card says resident since 2021. Please, when can I apply for my citizenship? 5 years, 90 days before the 5th year anniversary. Okay, let's see. Anything about how long, like I said, go on USCIS.gov/processing time. You would see the processing time for each type of petition, each type of application. Can I file for a T visa even when I have a pending green card application? If you qualify, yes. Nothing stops you from doing that. My question is, please give us a T on that your client that wants to follow on, but wait. We should bring her one of these days, right? Wait, what? Yeah, we'll bring her on one of these days. I'm jealous because it's freezing here. Yes, Miss Abena, 70s, like sleeveless kind of weather. That's what it is. Like, don't jinx it for us now. So we're good. Hey, Miss Malabi, do you know anything about the immigration checkpoints and to even expect? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Maybe you want to rephrase your question. I can't laugh. Temilola watches the Yoruba videos all the time. I'm so confused. I'm sorry. Hey, you probably want to go learn Yoruba language then. Let's see. You watch it sometimes. Okay, let's go to TikTok. Okay, see, when you all don't repeat questions, so it's very helpful. Okay, let's see. Watching from Atlanta. Yeah, TikTok, thank you. I did a FOIA for USCIS and they don't have anything for an I-130 through consular processing. So what's your question? How do I get my asylum receipt number? It should be on the receipt notice that you were sent after you filed your case. Okay. I have DACA. I would like to apply for advanced parole. Can I still apply? How long is it taking? Anything about how long something is taking? Like I said, you can check on USCI's website. Can you still apply for advanced parole if you fall within the grounds for which you can apply? You know, educational, employment, I think medical. Nothing stops you from applying for advanced parole. I'm in the military. Want to file for my fiance from Africa. What documents do I need? I provide documents to people who retain my services. So you can go on the USCI's website. Every type of petition or application, USCIS actually has a courtesy checklist that you can use. So, but as far as giving you what checklist, that's part of what people retain my services for. Somebody said there will no longer be interview waivers, marriage green card base. Is that true? There hasn't been any press release or news from USCIS or updates or alerts regarding that as of today. That can change. However, you know, there is a possibility that because of what this administration did the first time during the first term, there is a high possibility that there will no longer be interview waivers and everyone will probably be scheduled for interviews regardless of how strong your case is. There is that possibility. So prepare yourselves. And I'm seeing that so far. I'm seeing that cases that was waiting on interviews. The interviews we have notices we received recently on marriage-based cases, I would say in those cases, about 5 cases so far within the last 30 days, I would say probably I'm not surprised that those cases were scheduled for interviews, because none of those 5 cases that I can think of actually are the first time the parties are filing. They've already filed before, either with a previous spouse or filing with their current spouse was denied. So, but we don't have any press release yet, but that is what it looks like, and especially going by what they did in the first term. So it's, yeah, that's expected. Okay, what can I do? What do you mean? I mean, if you're, I don't know how you requested for your FOIA, but if you have to be specific what you need. So I can't say what you can you do, but if you think that you did not get exactly what you asked them to give you, there is an option that you can appeal. Usually they will send you a letter when they release your records or lack thereof, and there should be an email. There should be an email that you can email them and tell them that, you know, they did not include whatever specific documents you're looking for, and they usually will respond. They will respond in the FOIA office. For whatever reason, they're on top of their game, unlike USCIS. Because let me tell you something, y'all. USCIS never ceases to amaze me. We've been waiting on Mr. AF. His case got approved, a week and a half ago or thereabout, last week, sometime not too far away, far ago. Waiting on his C31 EAD. We've been waiting on that, right? Finally got it today. I was like, okay, you know, celebrating, yada, yada, yada. Y'all, USCIS, I'm telling you, I don't even know. They never, when you think you cannot be shocked, even much more, they shock you. So he's got 2 kids. They put his daughter's name on his work permit. The birth date is his own birth date. The photograph on it is his own photograph. The sex is male, but somehow some genius in the USCIS office decided to look in his entire file and say, you know what? I don't feel like using this person's real name. Let me just pick a name that I feel like using. Put his daughter's name as on the EAD that we've been waiting on because his employer needs it. Yeah. So point being, you may have to email them and specifically request that and ask them why they did not include that for you. So, but other than that, there's nothing else I can say without knowing exactly what your case is about. Does a 62-year-old, my mom, will have to do interviews for adjustment of status she has approved? That's not a question I can answer. That's left to USCIS to decide. Do parents get scheduled for interviews? Absolutely. Do you work in asylum? Yes, I do. Okay, let's see. All right, so if I knew you repeated your question so many times, I would have skipped it. VAR updates. What do you mean VAR updates? Okay, enter that. Is it advisable to file for divorce while your VAR case is still pending? I cannot tell you if it's advisable. Disclaimer: general information. Nothing specific to anyone's case. Is it so? Ask your lawyer about that. However, can you get a divorce while your VAR case is pending? You can. Nothing says you have to remain married to the abusive spouse throughout the whole process. what I just always say about that is sometimes you just never know. Sometimes you may need to actually, um, God forbid, you have to refile. And if you've been divorced and it's been more than 2 years, then you're out of luck. But if you are still legally married, you don't have to live together, and for whatever reason you have to start all over again. As long as you still have the qualifying relationship, then you're going to be able to do that. You can't do that once your divorce has been final and more than 2 years after the divorce. So in which with how long vacancies are taken, you just never know. So that's usually my take on that. But whether or not you can, that's going to be up to you and your attorney who knows about your case. Okay. How can I move from Canada to the States? It depends on what you qualify for. And so you may want to sit down with a lawyer to discuss that. Let's see. What can someone do when their case is being denied by false allegations? They can sit down with a lawyer to discuss their case and figure out what the options they have. Can I fly domestically if I have a pending asylum? I would just, what I'm telling my clients, especially those who have to work from state to state, is make sure, and there's just so much going on. Obviously, the truth of it, and this is not a scare tactic or anything. The truth of the matter is some people who have authorized stay and all are being wrongly detained. But I'm telling my clients, make sure you've got copies of your receipt notices to show that you've got something pending. If you've got a valid EAD, make sure you have that with you. EAD is not a status; it's just that it's tied to. It's proof that you've got something pending. Make sure you have your unexpired ID. Everything you can do, and when in doubt, make sure you've got your lawyer, your lawyer's contact. And, for instance, we have WhatsApp. We have people who would respond even on weekends, so that, if a client needs to get in touch with us, they can. So if you're going to be flying, that's what I would just recommend that you do. Okay, let's see. He's beautiful. Thank you. Prayers work. That's a nice username. Okay, let's see. Look here, Marlene. Thank you. Do kids help an I-130 case? If you've got children with your spouse, obviously that's very, very credible good faith evidence. Let's see. Okay. What do you do if you are out of status? Hold on. I think I jumped something. Just give me one. Okay, now. All right. Another question. Okay, I must have jumped in 1 second. If you repeat your question, I'm going to skip it because it's it's unfair to other people. Number one. Number two, I think I say it all the time that we get to questions at the end of what topic we want to discuss. I say even from the beginning. So I'm not really sure why people feel the need to repeat the questions. Anyway, I'm just going to skip it. That's it. So if I'm not answering your questions because you put it more than once. Okay, so that. What should I do? Appeal? Okay. Like I said, when I say appeal, look at it, letter they sent you, or if you're not sure what it is you're trying to request, you may be better off just consulting with a lawyer and get it done properly rather than trying to figure out what to do. What is the difference between C9 and C09 for the marriage-based case? Is the same thing. Let's see. I have a question. What's your question, Master? That's interesting. Can I Can I travel either refugee travel documents and my passport to a third safe country? I'm assuming you were granted asylum status. If you were granted asylum status, then you shouldn't be using your passport. You should use your refugee travel document, because that is like your new passport until you become a citizen. I'm not sure if that answers your question. I have a dismissed shoplifting case as an asylee, and I'm now preparing to apply for my green card. All right, what's your question? Do minor children over 15 get called for interviews? They can. Am I safe to do that since my case is now dismissed? I can't answer whether you're safe or not. What you need to do is there's some things that you all just need to sit down with a lawyer to talk about. This forum is great, and I can answer general questions, but there's some cases where it's just a no-brainer that you have to sit down with a lawyer and evaluate your case. It's not a yes or no. Yeah, go ahead and do that. This is a question like that. It's, you've got a criminal record, even though it's dismissed. Well, what was the basis of the dismissal? Was it still like probation? Did you have to do some conditions to be satisfied? And so if that's the case, even if it ends up being dismissed, a lot of people think because your case is dismissed, that means you don't have a conviction. A dismissal with conditions sometimes is conviction when it comes to immigration case, the immigration world. So you need to have your case evaluated by an attorney and know whether or not it is time for you to go ahead and file for your green card. Let's see. Can you live separately while you're waiting on your asylum interview? What do you mean, can you live separately? Asylum is not based on marriage, unless you're saying you're separated from the spouse you filed together with. I'm not sure. And can you get divorced while waiting on your asylum? If you get divorced while waiting on your asylum interview, the divorce is going to impact one person, because if you both are on the asylum application, you're both probably claiming, so unless you've got separate applications, separate basis for your asylum. But if it's one common reason, then the divorce is going to make one party, the derivative beneficiary, not eligible for under that principal applicant's case. And in that situation, you as the derivative beneficiary cannot go ahead and file your own separate application. But the best thing you can do for yourself is to contact an attorney. What do you do if you're out of status from K1 and your 45 has been pending for months? I'll contact USCIS, contact your congressman or woman. I'll send them a demand letter. If all of that has been done and nothing still, then go ahead and file a lawsuit against them. Okay. First time here, Omobaba, thank you. Welcome in. Okay, let's see. I had to do classes. So that's a conditional thing. So talk to a lawyer. This is not a yes or no. How long does it take to receive a notice for adjustment of status? What we're seeing in my firm for notices generally can range from 2 weeks or about 4 weeks. That's what we're seeing currently. USCI sent me 2 EAD, same categories, C9, 1 month apart. Either you submitted 2 separate work permits, maybe one was being delayed, or it's the error. Listen, I told you they just transposed my client's daughter's name onto his EAD with his photo. Everything is his except the name. Go figure. Some genius in USCI's office just said, you know what? I just feel like messing with these people this time around. I opened it. I was like, oh, Lord. The level of, I don't know. Maybe a high school student printed it. I just don't know. Yeah, but here we are. Can an F2 holder approved for EB2 NIW who then adjusted status within the US use an approved I-7605 to work or not? If you've already adjusted status, then that means you have a green card already. So why are you asking if you can work unless you're still pending, unless it's still pending? Is it still pending? You haven't adjusted status. If you're adjusted, which you're using the past tense, that means it has already happened, right? But if you're still going through it, then you have not adjusted status. You just applied for adjustment of status. And so if it's still pending, if your question is whether you can use your I-7605 to work while on an F2 while the I-45 is still pending, once you use it, usually that nullifies your non-immigrant F2 because you cannot work on an F2 visa side. It's not a dual intent where you can have adjustment of status and still maintain F2. It's one or the other. Another way to look at it is if you were to travel where you're pending adjustment of status and you decide to travel out of the country without an advance parole, then you're only going to be able to come back in with that F2 visa as long as it's still valid and you haven't validated that status, but your green card application will be deemed to have been abandoned. The same thing applies if you travel and come back in with advanced parole, then your F2 status will be nullified. So the same thing applies. So I'm guessing that's what you mean. My VA got approved on January 29. Congratulations. And they sent me a 2-year EAD. When should I expect the green card since we filed it together? It doesn't matter that you filed it together. Keep in mind when you file a VA case, the VA I-360 has to be adjudicated first. The I-45 is just basically buying you the time that you filed it and securing that priority date. But for the most part, when your VA case is pending, you are just buying time. It's not doing anything because the VA petition has to be approved. Once that has now been approved, USCIS now continues to adjudicate your case, and that could range from anywhere from 2 months to about 12 months. So, but when you should expect, that's a question I can answer. Okay. I filed asylum application for my 2 kids in 2016, but they received green cards through my ex-wife. Okay. I applied for a marriage-based green card in 2024, still pending. When is the best time to withdraw the asylum application? I assume, like the people, that you are still on the asylum application yourself, right? So if you are the principal applicant on the asylum application, this is what we do. When I have a client that has a pending asylum case and we do either a family-based or employment-based case, a petition or application, until we get the green card, we leave the asylum as is. Because you want to avoid a situation where USCIS feels like you filed a frivolous asylum application if you didn't have a basis. So that's what I would recommend, that you leave that when you get your green card. Then you inform them that the reason why you want to withdraw your application is because you now have a green card as well, and also your derivative beneficiaries. That's how I approach it. Some people would tell you, well, yeah, just go ahead and withdraw it. If you do, you stand a chance of them making an allegation of frivolous application, or they may still issue a notice to appear in immigration court. So I just usually leave it as is. Okay. Alrighty, so I think we got through. Let me go on. Okay, let's see Instagram. Do you know anything about the checkpoints or what to expect? Miss Malabi, you keep asking, what checkpoints are you talking about? What checkpoints? Are you talking of, when you travel by air? Are you talking of having to go from city to city? Let me say this. As someone who has a pending case with USCIS, or you do not have a pending case but you're out of status, I don't know what you mean by checkpoint, but if you're talking about what you may possibly encounter ICE close to the border of a state, whatever the case may be, that's not what you want to be at this time, especially with this administration. I'm not sure what you mean by checkpoints. I mean, checkpoints can mean anything. Are you talking of checkpoints where at the airport, with ICE? Where exactly? But wherever it is, you do not want to be anywhere ICE has the presence in. So let's see. Can I book an appointment to know when exactly I can file for my citizenship? I don't know if it's 2025 or 2026. If you're filing for citizenship based on when you file for citizenship, depends on what category you fall within and how long you've been a green card holder. For instance, if you're filing for citizenship based on being a member of the military, you can file for citizenship. You're not waiting 3 years or 5 years. That's one of the benefits of being in the military. You can file your citizenship immediately, as long as you select the correct statute that you're filing under. Majority of people are going to file for citizenship either based on 3 years as a legal permanent resident or 5 years as a legal permanent resident. The one error a lot of people make is thinking that the length of their marriage has to do with when to file for citizenship. Hear me loud and clear. The time frame for which you have been married has nothing to do with your citizenship. Absolutely nothing. Eligibility. What matters is what ground are you filing for citizenship and how long have you been a green card holder. If you are filing based on marriage to a spouse, a citizen spouse, then you become eligible to apply for citizenship based on after 3 years as a green card holder. Example, your green card was approved May 22nd, 2024, you become eligible to apply for citizenship sometime in February 2027, because you can file 90 days before the 30th anniversary. If you are married to a U.S. citizen, that person is still a U.S. citizen, and you are in marital union with the person, meaning you're still living with them. Marriage is still fine. If you are not filing based on marital union because you're divorced, because you got your green card through employment, then you are waiting until you have had that green card for 5 years. Same example, you got your green card May 22nd, 2024. You're filing based on 5 year ground. You're going to wait until sometime in February 2029 to become eligible for your citizenship based on 5 years. Those who got their green card through VAWA, abuse green cards, or get your green card, your 10-year green card by filing an I-751 abuse waiver, are also still eligible to file for citizenship after 3 years as a legal permanent resident, not for the length for which you've been married to the abuser. So 3 years as a legal permanent resident, 5 as a legal permanent resident, or if you're filing based on military service. I hope that helps. And the best way to know where to start counting from is from the dates. Every green card has that resident since date. That's when you start to count from that date, then how long you've been a green card holder from that date. USC has announced that they were going to try and pilot program for renewed H-1B visas in the United States, not only renewed in the United States. So just H-1B, you don't renew visas in the United States. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You don't renew visas in the United States. You extend status in the United States because you don't need to have a visa stamp in the United States. If you're physically present in the country, what matters is your I-94. Visas are only relevant for you to come in and out for entry. So I'm not really sure. I don't think that's what they were talking about. But you cannot renew a visa within the United States for anything. Can an asylum seeker get travel documents? You can if you're asking based on specific grounds. So it has to be very specific reasons. Can I apply for H-1B visa and still be waiting for my asylum case? You cannot apply for H-1B. A U.S. employer has to sponsor you. It's not something that you can apply for yourself. It's something a U.S. employer has to file on your behalf. That's number one. Number two, a pending asylum application is not it's not a legal status. It's an authorized state. So if you do not have any other status like an F1, H1, F1, M1, then you cannot change. You okay? You cannot change your status in the United States. I have a conditional green card and I want to travel to Africa. I'm afraid because of what's going on. I can't give you any advice regarding travel. If you have a lawyer, talk to the lawyer and let them know. Can I apply for H1B and still wait? Apply? No, I just answered a question. So for someone who has a pending, you mean I-539, you're 939. Change of status to F1 from B1 that was submitted since September 2024. What can you do to expedite a follow? You can submit a premium processing request since you're changing to F1. And that guarantees that USCIS will make a decision within 30 days. Okay. Join live sessions on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Instagram Tuesdays, and Facebook. You forgot Facebook. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to learn more about immigration policy, and also Q&A session with, representing immigration clients. How do I know if it's been updated? It still shows spouse address online. I can't have more issues with spouse since then. How do you know what has been updated? Okay, let's see. Oh, official. Is this sorry man? I'm sorry if I wrote it that. I feel at peace on here on this space. That's the whole point. So you can feel like this is a safe space. Y'all, I always say that I look forward to coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays because it really is very therapeutic, even for me. So I'm glad that you feel that way. You're welcome, Miss Peggy. What are the examples of evidence you can submit for your marriage use case? Insurance, birth certificate of children, IDs, photos, bank account, taxes, text messages, all of that. Thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. Baby boy, you good? They'll be reading red fonts for that era. I just even left it. It's right there on the floor of my home office here. You know, when you kind of thing, like, you know, like you're just tired from just because you cannot understand the level of incompetency. Like making make sense. Like what does it take to just you're looking at the name of the applicant or petitioner, and then because literally you have to go in his record to find the name of the child, and they're like, oh, great, genius idea, let's put the name of the child. Like, why? I'm telling you, sometimes I read my own cover letters or my emails, and I'm like, these are fighting words. Don't find nicks. It's like, okay, she's good. But yeah. How do you maintain your Miss Sophia said, how do you maintain your beauty and weight? Now, my weight, this is usually not my weight, to be honest, because you remember I told you guys I had surgery 7 weeks ago yesterday. So I am trying to build back what because I loved what I mean, according to my BMI, I was overweight, but while I look around, see, I ain't giving up my nitrogen for anytime soon. So I lost a lot of weight because of the surgery, but thank you. Are they still conducting VAR interviews? With this new administration, we're going to expect that they will. Mr. Lightimiki, there's nothing wrong with her question. Let's see. Can I marry and adjust status without going back to my home country if I was paroled with 212D? That's something you sit down with a lawyer to discuss. Thank you, Ms. Avena. Okay, and if it were an applicant that made such a mistake, if you make an error, first of all, they will even reject your case. They reject and send it back to you. How they do it, they just put everything and but they make an error, no. Damn it, every year. I'm still coming again. Damn it, every year. That name sounds familiar. No problem, Miss Sophia. Conditional green card expired in 24 months, and 24 months extension expired in October. 751 still pending for 3 years, so I filed my citizenship, but I was interviewed for 751 instead of April, but no update till date. Follow up with them. Follow up with them. You're going on a year. Call them. Get your congressman or woman involved. And like I was saying, listen, I understand people are skeptical about suing, but sometimes that's the only option you've got when you've done everything else. This isn't any promotion, but fact. If you're on here and need an attorney, book a consultation and have your case evaluated, it's worth having an attorney in this times, not just any attorney too. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ms. Avena. All righty. Okay, people. I think I covered quite a number of questions tonight. All right, yes. So once again, if we can help you with your immigration case, we will be glad and honored to represent you in your case. Just like official serve, I hope I'm not messing up your username, said, it's very refreshing, it's very therapeutic for us to come together as immigrants, especially during this season. There's so much negativity, there's so much going on that it's almost like, I can't even tell you the racist, vile comments on because obviously my page in my business page is public, so it's ground for anti-immigrant people, and I don't really. Sometimes my social media lady Kyla will say, she feels so bad because she's very emotional, and yeah, she goes, "How do you do it? Like, you ignore it, you ignore it." The ones that I get, like maybe they'll send a message directly to us, and because they want us to get the message, then just delete it, don't respond, and don't give it life. But that's not going to stop us from doing what we're doing. This is a commitment. This is a labor of love. This is a passion that you cannot be taught. You have to have this, and that's why I do, because I have walked in your shoes. Our journeys are different, but I know what it feels like to just be waiting. I came to this country 2002, so it's going to be 23 years in May, and I became a green card holder in 2009. Took me 7 years. 7 years. Within that 7-year period, my mother would tell you, I got to place where I'm like, you know what, I'm going back to Nigeria. So I get it. And that's why for me, I go all out for my clients. Like, I can go to bed every single night knowing that I've done everything I can possibly do, that God has given me strength to do for everyone, in everybody's case. So I pray that as we come together each Tuesday and Thursday, we come together in faith, in most importantly, knowing that there's nothing that we put before the altar of grace that God cannot turn around, but also encouraging one another and being there for one another. And as we celebrate with other people, that God would turn around and remember us, and people would also celebrate with us. That is the goal. And just keep the one that I always said, and I tell my clients, we cannot give up. That's what this administration wants. They want us as immigrants to give up and see, no, you can't, because there is no coincidence with God. There is no error. There are no errors with God. If God has brought you thus far, He's brought you to this country, He's going to make you thrive in this country. And in order for you to thrive in this country, that means you must be stable. You're not going to come here and live back home in shame. That's not going to be your story. And so shall it be. We agree in faith that we shall all have our fulfilled expectations. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye, everybody.